Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this first Saturday. It's hard to believe, which means Gene Smith and Dave Gabbert is on the line in Lexington. Gene's in the studio here. And, you know, before we get to the next guest, because I know Gene knows this gentleman real well, and I do too because of our dealings in Shelby Forest and things. But Gene has brought his joke book, his pun book, and I don't think this guest will mind. Have you got a pun for us that would lead into what this guy?
It just so happened we've been talking about old folks.
We have been talking about old folks.
And you can tell when you get old when the candles cost more than the cake.
The candles cost more than the cake.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, my. Dave Gabbert, did you get that in Lexington?
Yeah, I got that. That's,
okay.
Gene said he missed our traveling days and stuff. Little known fact, we was traveling one time going across in Canada up there and, kind of got lost. And so we was going down the road and there's a guy standing on the road and Gene got out to ask him where we was. And he asked the guy, he said, "Where are we?" And the guy said, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And so Gene got back in the truck. And I said, "Well, where did he say? Where are we?" He said, "I don't know." The guy couldn't speak English.
Okay.
We was lost.
Well, we know this next guy's not lost because he's been doing it for a taxidermist for a long time and one of the best that we know in the Mid-South. And I figured this would be a good time to talk to our good friend Chris Knight at Shelby Forest Taxidermy because after dropping off my deer on Tuesday and seeing some nice deer coming in, I know this has got to be a busy time for Chris. And, Chris, we appreciate you. First of all, good Saturday morning to you, buddy. And
good morning, Larry.
It's kind of a way you can really see what kind of season's going. What's it been like for you? Have you seen some big deer already?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely killing the big ones now because they've been chasing those does looking for a girlfriend. So,
yes. Yeah.
It's been pretty fair busy.
You seen what's the biggest you got checked with you? What are you looking at right now? What are you working on?
Oh, I'm working on everything. I got everything from a standing grizzly bear in here to a lot of ducks and geese, and so a big old Cape buffalo from South Africa.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
Now, so I've asked the two guys here. They all agree with me. Taxidermist. To me, are artists. Do you consider yourself an artist?
More craftsman than artist, I think.
A craftsman. That sounds pretty good. Sears used that phrase for a long time, I think, with craftsman. Yeah. But, so tell our listeners how you got into this.
I actually started when I was a teenager, and I've always been around outdoors hunting and fishing and my whole life. And I mounted a squirrel when I was about 13 or 14. It was the ugliest thing you ever seen in your life.
You still got it?
No, sir. I would never show anything like that.
Wouldn't show that. So you just went from there?
Yeah, I actually didn't open the business until I was in my 40s.
That's what I thought. So
I was looking for something to do in my semi-retirement years that I enjoyed doing, and being around the people that I enjoy being around, and which is hunters and fishermen.
Yeah.
And so this is just a natural progression for me.
Are there young people? Are you? I don't want to lose you guys. I mean, you got to have a real urge to be a taxidermist because it's not the easiest thing. We were just talking to Dave Payne, the deer processor, and what they're going through. He did 55 deer on Monday.
Sure.
And I know, Chris, this is not something you could do overnight.
No,
so,
sir.
I mean, you working on something, a grizzly bear or something along that line, they don't, you don't get this back next week. So, talk about the process here.
Well, as whitetails go, the guy gets it back from his processor. He wants to do a shoulder mount on it, and he's going to bring the hide and the head to me, and we remove the rest of the skin from the skull and clean it, put it in a bactericide so get all the nastiness off of it, and we tan ours so they go into chemicals to make them into leather because they're forever. And so that process alone is fairly time consuming. And then the reassembly of it takes time for them to dry.
Yeah.
And our goal is to make it as pretty as God made it before you shot it.
That's right.
That's good. Yeah.
And that's I think that's the best that we can ever make it, and take any man's influence out of it and make it just a really nice presentation of a mount. And hopefully he's got some good bling to be on top of his head to go with it. So.
And you do explain this, because I'm sure people say it's going to take how long?
Yeah.
Because
generally we stay booked out 12 months all the time. So
12 months. Yeah.
Just because of the volume of work we do, we mount near 400 pieces of taxidermy a year.
400 a year? I mean.
Yes, sir.
Now,
and that's a variety of things, from ducks and geese and bobcats, coyotes, lots and lots of deer,
birds, fish,
African stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
All manner of stuff. Yeah, turkeys.
So, what's your specialty?
I don't know if I do. If I had a preference, I'd probably only do birds because it doesn't take near as much equipment or time. And it's actually fairly relaxing working on them compared to tugging on a skin of a deer or an antelope or a grizzly bear or something.
Yeah, because I know a taxidermist. He's no longer alive, but I can remember on his front door he said, "We don't do humans."
Well, that's one thing that people ask me what I do, and I said we do everything but pets and people.
That's right. Yeah. So it's up to you to do this. Well, what about the future of taxidermists? I mean, everything is now so technical, and we've got AI and all these different kind of things. You guys are still skill is involved.
It's work with your hands, your mind, and your vision of what you're going to produce. And I'm fortunate that I do have two part-timers. They're young people, and they're
that's
like
great.
30 years old.
Yeah.
And so you do really have to have a calling or desire to do this kind of work.
Because this is a work that, you can't go to, you can't go to a college and learn to be taxidermist.
No, there are a couple.
You can probably learn the basics. Yeah.
The basics.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Is the basics of taking things apart, putting them back together. But I don't think it teaches you how to. I think either A comes naturally or it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Even setting the eyes you got to be perfect.
Oh, the eyes.
Well, the eyes are the passage to the soul, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And if you don't have that right, it don't look right. And so I think personally there's lots of people who can do taxidermy and produce okay stuff.
Yeah.
But do you want it to look okay, or do you want it to look like it's supposed to?
And you want it to last.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, you could do it in your kitchen if you wanted to. I mean, but this is not going to be the same thing as you've almost got a studio, don't you?
Yeah, I got 1,600 square foot shop.
That's what I want you to tell. 1,600 square foot shop, folks.
Right, and so we can do just about. I got a high enough ceiling I can mount a giraffe in here if I need to. So
you still got that moose?
No, he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
You've never mounted a giraffe. I mean, that's.
No, I've worked on them, but I've not.
Have you really?
Had the opportunity. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Again, we're talking to Chris Knight of Shelby Forest Taxidermy, and you folks out there looking for that big deer. And we see pictures of them on Facebook killing a nice deer. I got a nice deer on my wall that I killed at Ames that a gentleman did for me, and I think it looks really real. He's no longer with us and things along that line. But it's an art. It
is an art.
You can say craftsman, whatever you want to do, Chris. But
he's got a fantastic eye for this stuff.
Yeah, you got to be able to be diligent at your work. So this isn't you don't start at 9 and quit at 5. I mean, this is a
it's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. Yeah, when it comes down to it. So tell my listeners how they get in touch with you, and where your place is located, things like that.
All right. Well, our number is 901-493-8370. You can look at us up on the web, ShelbyForestTaxidermy.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and we are located at 5586 Bengestown Road. It's a Memphis address, but we're right down the road from the entrance to Shelby Forest State Park.
You sure are. Chris Knight, thank you, buddy.
Sure.
We'll talk to you again, and keep up that Craftsman, okay, buddy? All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. Let's take
Tell the wife hello for me.
I'll do it, buddy.
All right. Before we take a break now, I know, Dave Gabbert, you've been listening in to Chris and knowing you've dealt with taxidermists in the past, too. It takes some patience, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Chris is not listening. We let him go of this, but to me, it would have to be like a science.
It is. It's amazing what he does. I watch him do a lot of things.
And with the chemicals and things.
He wanted me to come in and help him. I said, no way. I mean, I'm good at what I do, but I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you said, you got to be patient, and everything. I knew a taxidermist that mounted a African elephant.
An African elephant. I didn't put it on the wall, did it? I mean,
and it was like one of the whole head standing up.
Oh my God!
The front half,
These guys, they look real and everything. But all right, you got a pun before we close out?
Oh yeah, this elderly couple sitting on the couch. It's their anniversary, and they's kissing and everything, and they looking at each other. And she looked at him, he looked at her, and said, "You can't think of nothing either."
Okay.
I saw him mount a zebra at the taxidermy convention one time.
You did?
Yes.
A zebra?
A zebra, yeah.
Well, you got to have a big room for a zebra.
Oh, yeah, it was at convention hall.
All right, we got one. She's holding up one finger. I know what that means. Now, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and it's time to talk a little bit more deer. We'll be right back.